Right and correct, two words of different origins, but with strikingly similar spelling. What features do they have in common? Don't forget to subscribe to Lang Explorer to show your support. The English word right is of Germanic origin, while correct derives from Latin. Despite stemming from unrelated roots, however, these words are quite extraordinarily similar, not only in meaning, but also in spelling. Why do they look so much alike, even though they are of different origins? Actually, both words originated in proto-indo-european, a language spoken more than 5,000 years ago which gave birth to both English and Latin, and they're related to many more words in modern English. In this video, we'll see details on such an etymology, which can be traced back to the prehistoric times. You'll notice a curious similarity when comparing right and correct. They're similar not only in the meaning, but also in the spelling, even though the first is of Germanic origin while the second one stems from Latin. Why do they resemble that much? In fact, both are derived from proto-indo-european, which is estimated to have been the language of nomadic peoples who lived between 3500 and 3000 BC in what is now Ukraine and southern Russia. Although there is no written record of this language because it was spoken in prehistory, the results of research in linguistics, archaeology, and many other disciplines, such as comparative mythology and molecular anthropology, have revealed not only the existence of proto-indo-european language itself, but also features of its speakers and where they lived. This proto-indo-european language subsequently split into various language groups, and the language of those who settled in what is now Denmark and southern Sweden and mixed with locals is called proto-Germanic. The descendants of this language, spoken around 500 BC, are English, German, Dutch, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, Icelandic, and others. Latin, on the other hand, is an Italic language spoken by the Latins who entered the area around Rome in the Italian peninsula from what is now Hungary. As the Roman Empire, created by the Latins, spread throughout the Mediterranean, their language, Latin, also spread to the western part of the Roman Empire, giving rise to the Romance languages such as French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese and Romanian, and such Italic languages are different from Germanic ones such as English. On the contrary, Latin didn't spread in the eastern part of the Roman Empire, as Greek continued to be spoken. And French, instead of English, started to be used by the ruling class in England after William I of Normandy conquered it in 1066, as royalty and nobility crossed the sea from France, leading to thousands of French words to be incorporated into English. Also, during the Renaissance, many sophisticated Latin words entered English. Although they were derided as inkhorn terms at the time, a significant portion of them are still used in modern English. Please watch this video for more information about the French influence on English. In Proto-Indo-European, the root grec that meant to straighten, to set in order or to correct, is thought to have existed. Latin had the verb rego, meaning to rule, direct, supervise, giving birth to other words such as corrigo, meaning to correct, straighten, dirigo, meaning to guide, erigo, meaning to build or to lift, and surgo, meaning to lift up or to get up. Beware that, when referring to a Latin verb, the indicative present first singular, corresponding to am and I am, is used instead of the infinitive, which in Latin would be such as regere and corrigere. The grec root gave birth to the adjective rectus, related to rectus and correctus in Latin. The English words derived from such terms include correct, direct, erect, surge, resurrect, and insurrection. Its present participle turned into regent, while region is another word originally meaning the ruled area. We can't forget that regime is another word coming from the same root. As for the English word right, it's derived from the aforementioned adjective rectus, which became the modern English word via the Proto-Germanic rectas. GH in right became silent in Middle English, but the corresponding German word recht retains the CH pronunciation. Returning to English, the word right gained the meaning of straight, perpendicular, correct or proper, and it gained the meaning of opposite of left as it was influenced by the Romans, who believed that right is good and left is evil. It also gave birth to the meaning of right as entitlement, as something you possess rightly, and also to the word righteous. On the other hand, the Latin word
rectus
gave birth to direct, rectangle, and rectum in English. The French words
droit
and
droite
and Spanish ones
derecho
and
derecha
mean entitlement and straight and right as opposite of left, respectively, showing similar meaning as right in English. On top of that, some derived words end up with tor, meaning somebody who does that action, such as rector, director, and corrector. In addition to this,
rex
meaning ruler, became
rex
in Latin, meaning king. Other words derived from this word include reign and regina, and the latter originally meant queen. The form also entered the Germanic language and became a personal name, although via Celtic rather than directly from Latin. The English Henry, which in German is
Heinrich,
was
Heimarix
in proto-Germanic, meaning ruler of the house. Another name for males, Eric, which contains the part Rick with the same meaning. Furthermore, rich derived from the meaning of rich like a ruler. The French word for king is
roi,
and its adjective form
royal,
came into English as royal. The French pronunciation is quite irregular, while the English one is loyal to its spelling. Another interesting cognate is
Maharaja,
which means rulers in India, and its literal translation into Latin is
Magnus Rex,
meaning great ruler. The Latin verb
regulo,
meaning to rule, is the origin of the English verb regulate, and the verb rule, meaning to govern or regulate. The verb rule gave birth to the nouns rule and ruler. On the other hand, the same verb turned into the adjectives regular and irregular. And even more surprisingly, the Latin word
rego
changed into
rogo,
meaning to ask or to beg. English words stemming from this Latin verb include arrogate, meaning to claim for oneself, and to embezzle, arrogant, and interrogate. From this perspective, it's clear that the word right is related to many other words. This word's ultimate origin,
Grec,
in proto-indo-european meant straight, and different other meanings such as correct, put in order, rule, and opposite of left were added, giving birth to even more meanings and words. At first glance, you might find a list of unrelated words, but you can understand their relationship when you trace their history. Now, let's summarize what we've learned today. 1. Right is a Germanic word, while correct is of Latin origin. However, they're similar in shape because they can be traced back to the same etymology in Proto-Indo-European. 2. The root,
Grec,
in Proto-Indo-European, shared by right and correct, meant to straighten, to put in order, and so, giving rise to the Latin verb,
rego,
meaning to govern and to direct. English words stemming from this verb include correct, direct, erect, surge, resurrect, regent, region, and regime. 3. Its adjective form,
rectos,
gave birth both to the Germanic words, right and righteous, as well as rectangle and rectum of Latin origin. 4. Furthermore,
rex,
which meant ruler in Proto-Indo-European, turned into
rex,
king in Latin, then English words reign, rich, royal were created. Also, the name Henry derives from ruler of the house in Proto-Germanic.
Maharaja,
meaning ruler in Sanskrit, shares the same etymology. 5. On top of that,
regulo,
in Latin gave birth to English words such as regulate, rule, ruler, regular, and irregular. Also, arrogant and interrogate stem from the same etymology. Thank you for watching this video. We're looking forward to seeing you in the next one.